This is so discourteous. This is so outside the committee's guidelines. Taking a personal shot at me while swiping at Biden? Very strange and very unprofessional of you. The answer is yes or no, and the answer is yes. You were registered as a lobbyist for Qatar. Is that correct? Yes. Never mind. Don't answer. Did you disclose that when you went before for the Senate for confirmation? Yes or no? No, it was not in your documents. The answer is no. President Trump.
This was discussed at my confirmation hearings in detail.
It was discussed, but you failed to bring up the conflict that you had.
Dean asked simple questions about the January 6th pardons, about foreign lobbying, about undisclosed conflicts of interest, and Bondi refused to answer any of them. Instead of clarity, she resorted to personal attacks and deflection, and that's the real story here. When accountability gets close, the people in power suddenly can't give straight answers. Dean didn't let her escape that.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Ranking Member. Thank you, Ranking Member. Thank you, and welcome, Attorney General Bondi. I just wonder, sincerely wonder, do you hear how hollow your last words sound in light of the pardon of all of the January 6th people, day one of this administration? I believe you're sincere. You want to protect law enforcement, but your principal, the president, pardoned every single one on January 6th. It rings hollow when you say these words, that if you spit on a police officer, we're going to go after you. Talk to my friends who are Capitol Police officers who were here, 5 of whom are no longer here. They are dead. And this administration, and I guess I want to ask you, did you have any advice for the president when he came forward with the blanket pardon on January 20th? What advice did you offer the president?
I am never going to talk about conversations, advice
you asked
in any
for-
way.
were you asked
I'm
for
never
advice?
going to talk about discussions I've had
Because
or have
you'll-
not had.
you'll
If I
remember-
can answer with the President of the United
Yes or no?
States.
Did you give him any advice? Yes or no?
I am not going to discuss any conversations
That's a
that
no.
I have had with it.
And
You just put
your
words in
own
my
word-
mouth. I am
but-
not going to
No,
discuss.
I'm going to reveal your own words.
I am
Just a
not
moment.
going to
Please stop.
discuss
Please stop. This
conversations
is my
that I've
time.
had with the President of the United States.
Attorney
You asked
General,
me a question.
I would like to reclaim
and
the
you
last
asked
20
me to
seconds.
answer.
I have asked to reclaim my time. Please put 20 seconds back on the clock.
You have an extra 30.
If the general,
She answered and then answered it again and answered it again with a non-answer. I ask for your consideration
if the
of putting time
gentle
on.
lady will let the witness answer the question, we will.
She
present
answered it by saying no. Okay. The 3 hallmarks of this administration are incompetence, corruption, and cruelty. I'm going to focus today on corruption. And in my mind, there are 2 types of corruption: personal, and then the other I'm going to call public, governmental. Attorney General, have you ever been registered as an agent of a foreign principal under the Foreign Agents Registration Act?
I assume you're talking about when I represented the country of Qatar for a very short time.
The
Hold
answer is
on.
yes. No,
Hold on.
excuse me.
No.
No.
For anti-human trafficking for the World Cup. Anti-human trafficking
or
for the
no?
World Cup.
Attorney
you can't
General-
put words in my mouth.
No.
You want to talk about incompetence? You're the one that
Excuse-
said Joe Biden on PBS was competent. You had to retract those words.
Mr.
So don't
Chairman-
talk to me. Don't insult me publicly.
This is so discourteous. This is so outside the committee's guidelines. Taking a personal shot at me while swiping at Biden? Very strange and very unprofessional of you. The answer is yes or no, and the answer is yes. You were registered as a lobbyist for Qatar. Is that correct? Yes. Never mind. Don't answer. Did you disclose that when you went before for the Senate for confirmation? Yes or no? No, it was not in your documents. The answer is no. President Trump.
This was discussed at my confirmation hearings in detail.
It was discussed, but you failed to bring up the conflict that you had. President Trump recently announced he'd accept that $400 million Qatar airplane because it was just prettier than the one he was flying around in. Is it true that you gave advice that this was legally permissible? Yes or no?
I will not discuss any advice that my Office of Legal Counsel gives to the President of the United States on any matter.
When you spoke before the Senate, you said you would ask for ethical advice. Did you recuse yourself from that issue?
And talking about unprofessional, you say the President wanted a jet because it's pretty?
Excuse
Come
me.
on, this is a Senate, this is a
He said it
congressional
himself.
hearing.
He said it himself.
This wasn't a hearing. This was a takedown. What we just witnessed wasn't politics as usual. It was a brutal clash between accountability and the desperate attempt to rewrite history. Rep. Madeleine Dean didn't come for a soundbite. She came for the truth. And Pam Bondi? She walked in with a shield of silence. Dean started by ripping the mask off the biggest hypocrisy in the room. Bondi claims she's here to protect law enforcement. But Dean dropped the hammer. How can you back the blue while serving an administration that blanket pardoned the very people who attacked them? This isn't abstract. 5 officers are gone. Trauma is still alive. Dean's message was loud and clear. You cannot preach law and order while you high-five the mob. Bondi had no answer. So she did what politicians do best: deflect, dodge, distract. Dean asked one simple question. Did you advise the president on those pardons? It's a yes or no. But Bondi refused to answer over and over again, hiding behind presidential privilege. But let's be real. When the question is about justice, silence isn't protection. Silence is an admission. But then, Dean went for the jugular. She stopped playing defense and exposed the corruption rotting underneath. She asked the question Bondi never saw coming. Were you a registered foreign agent? Bondi tried to spin it. She tried to soften it. But Dean had the receipts. Yes. Bondi was a registered lobbyist for Qatar. No. She didn't disclose it properly. Think about that. While claiming to serve America, whose paycheck was she actually cashing? When leaders answer simple questions with personal insults. When they hide their foreign ties. When transparency becomes optional. That is not confidence. That is fear. Dean just showed us exactly what modern corruption looks like. It looks like evasion. If you believe justice shouldn't have a price tag and loyalty shouldn't be blind, then wake up. Stop accepting the silence. Keep watching. Keep asking. And demand the truth.